Okay, so today we're going deep on something you probably use every day,
Yeah.
but maybe haven't thought too much about the global market for toilet seat sanitizer.
Right.
And we've got a brand new report, hot off the
Hot
presses,
off the presses, yeah.
from Cognitive Market Research,
Hmm.
published January this year, so 2025.
Very recent.
And it's got some really interesting data on this, what you might consider a niche market.
It is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
To kind of kick things off and give you an idea of the scale of this whole thing.
Yeah.
This report values the global toilet seat sanitizer market at, get this, a whopping $715.5 million in 2025.
Huge.
For something so specific, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And that number isn't just staying put.
Right.
What's really interesting for you is this projected growth. By 2033, it's expected to hit 187.04 million,
Wow.
with a CAGR, an annual growth rate of 7.5%. So we're not just looking at a stable market here.
Right.
We're seeing some serious momentum.
Yeah, for sure.
So today we're going to go beyond just the numbers and try to understand, why is this market growing?
Yeah, what's behind this?
Where are the real hotspots geographically, around the world, and what kinds of products are really leading the charge here?
Totally.
Yeah.
Let's break it all down.
Okay, let's unpack this thing.
So one of the really cool things you see right away when you dig into this report
Yeah.
is the primary driver behind all this growth is a global focus on hygiene and cleanliness.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it seems kind of obvious, but when you see how much that awareness is driving a market like toilet seat sanitizers,
Yeah.
it's kind of remarkable.
You really see it.
Yeah, you do.
Like in action.
Exactly. But it's not all smooth sailing.
Of course not.
No market is without its challenges.
Right. No market's perfect.
So the report does highlight some things that are holding back growth a little bit.
Like what?
Well, for one, you've got the alternatives, right?
Okay.
Things like wipes and sprays, those general purpose cleaning products, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're often cheaper, too.
Yeah, you can just grab those.
Right. And then there's this other factor, maybe some hesitation in some areas to really go all in on toilet seat sanitizer specifically.
Why do you think that is?
It's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
Could be, ingrained habits.
Right. People are just used to doing things a certain way.
Exactly. Or maybe it's just not seen as totally necessary.
Right. It's an extra step.
Yeah, an extra step.
Okay, but even with those kind of roadblocks,
Yeah.
we're seeing some interesting stuff happening.
Oh, absolutely. Some really cool trends are popping up.
Like what? Tell me.
Well, one thing that caught my eye was the rise of more convenient packaging. Like you see more travel-size sanitizers now,
Yeah.
which tells me people want hygiene solutions that fit into their busy lives.
Makes sense, right? You're on the go.
On the go,
You
exactly.
need something that's portable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another trend we're seeing is a lot more emphasis on antibacterial and antiviral properties in the marketing.
So it's not just about cleaning anymore.
Right. It's about that extra level of germ protection.
People are looking for that reassurance.
Yeah, they want that peace of mind.
So that gives us a good overall view of the market dynamics.
Yeah.
But now let's zoom in a bit geographically. Where's this growth really happening?
All right, let's take a world tour.
Let's do it. The regional breakdown in this report is fascinating.
It is pretty amazing to see how it varies.
Okay, so starting with North America,
All right, North America.
you're the big dog, right?
Oh, yeah. They're holding the biggest share of the global market in 2025.
Okay.
Over 40% with a market value of $286.280 million.
Wow. So it's interesting, though. It's the biggest, but the growth is actually more moderate.
That's right.
Still really solid,
Yeah.
but a CAGR of 5.7% from 2025 to 2033.
Right, which probably means they already have a pretty high standard of hygiene there.
Yeah.
And well-established retail channels, so there's a good foundation already.
Makes sense. They're starting from a higher point.
Right.
Okay, and zooming in a little closer on North America.
Okay,
It's the U.S., really, that's the driving force.
as you might expect.
Yeah, market size of $225.81 million in 2025.
Big number?
Yeah, and a slightly lower growth rate at 5.5%. And the report actually specifically calls out government regulations promoting sanitation standards in public spaces as a big driver there.
That makes sense. Regulations can definitely create a baseline demand.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, Canada's in a different story. They're seeing a bit faster growth,
Okay.
a CGR of 6.5% and a market size of $34.34 million in 2025.
Interesting. So why the difference?
Well, the report points to the growing wellness and self-care trend in Canada.
Okay.
So maybe toilet seat sanitizers becoming part of people's personal hygiene routine there.
I can see that it's like fitting into a bigger
Yeah,
picture.
exactly.
And then, of course, we have Mexico
Right.
with a 2025 market size of 26.04 million US dollars
Yep.
and a CGR of 6.2%. So North America as a whole, they're leading, but it's more of a steady growth, not necessarily explosive.
Right.
But each country has its own little nuances going on.
Definitely. Okay, so now let's hop across the Atlantic.
Yeah, let's go to Europe.
Europe's got the second largest share of the global market.
Okay.
They're holding strong over 30% of the revenue, with a market size of 214.65 million US dollars in 2025.
Okay. Still a big player.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And their projected CAGR is 6%. So solid growth potential there.
Solid. All right. And within Europe, I imagine there's some variation as well.
Of course, Europe's a diverse place.
Right.
So the UK, their market's estimated at 36.06 million US dollars in 2025,
Okay.
with a strong CGR of 6.8%.
Nice.
And the report highlights the convenience of online retail as a big factor there.
Makes sense. Everyone's buying everything online these days.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
And you've got Germany, a little bigger market at 42.50 million US dollars
Okay.
and a CGR of 6.2%. And it seems like a heightened awareness of cross-contamination in public restrooms is a key driver.
Wow, that's interesting. So it's like these very specific societal concerns that are driving demand.
Yeah, it is fascinating how those things play out.
Absolutely. And France.
France, yeah, a bit smaller
Yeah,
market
yeah.
size, 19.75 million US dollars,
For
with a 5.2% CAGR.
Right.
And Russia coming in at 33.27 million US dollars with a 5% CAGR.
So even though Europe is this big market overall,
Yeah,
it's clear that the drivers and the growth rates, they can change a lot from country to country.
absolutely. Each place has its own story.
Okay, now buckle up because we're headed to the Asia-Pacific region.
Okay, this is where things get interesting.
This is where the action is. This is where the report's really pointing to the most dynamic growth.
Okay.
Right now, Asia-Pacific holds about 23% of the global market share,
Okay.
with a market size of 164.57 million US dollars in 2025.
Right.
But get this, the projected CAGR is a whopping 9.5% from 2025 to 2033.
Wow, that's almost double-digit growth.
Almost. Yeah, it's really suggesting a big shift is coming.
In the global landscape for this product.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, and I'm guessing China's a big part of this.
Oh, yeah. China's a major engine here. They've got a 2025 market size of 69.12 million US dollars
Okay.
and a 9% CAGR. And the report links that to a couple of things.
Like what? Increased travel and tourism.
Makes sense.
More people moving around using more public restrooms.
Yeah, especially in places like hotels and airports.
Exactly. And then India,
India.
they're showing even faster growth potential.
Wow.
Remarkable KGR of 11.3%.
Huge.
Yeah, and a market size of 19.75 million US dollars in 2025.
That's driven by eco-friendly and natural products, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. They're really adopting those options in India.
Interesting. So sustainability is a key factor there.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Japan's in the mix too, with a market size of 22.71 million US dollars and an 8% AGR.
Okay, so all around strong growth.
And we're seeing strong growth in other parts of the region too, like South Korea, Australia.
It seems like the Asia-Pacific region is really the one to watch.
Definitely a lot of exciting things happening there.
Yeah.
It's this combination of rising hygiene awareness,
Okay.
increasing urbanization,
Okay.
which means more people are using public restrooms.
Right.
And then you've got growing disposable incomes.
People have more money to spend.
Right, so they can afford to buy these products.
Yeah.
It all adds up to rapid expansion.
So Asia-Pacific, watch out.
Okay.
Let's move on to Latin America.
All right, Latin America.
What are we seeing there?
So they account for a little over 5% of the global revenue,
Okay.
with a market size of 35.78 million US dollars in 2025,
All right.
and a projected KGR of 6.9%.
Solid.
Yeah. Brazil's the biggest market there.
Okay.
15.31 million US dollars in 2025, with a 7.5% CAGR. And the report specifically mentions the impact of COVID-19.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's really increased awareness around cleanliness.
Big time. And those things, they have a lasting effect.
Did they do?
You know.
Yeah, they change people's habits.
Yeah.
Argentina's another key player there with a market size of 6.01 million US dollars
Okay.
and a strong KGR of 7.8%, which could be tied to the improving economic conditions there.
Yeah, people have more money to spend on things like this.
Exactly. And we're seeing growth in other Latin American countries too, Colombia, Peru, Chile,
Yeah.
all contributing to that positive trend.
So across the board, it's growing.
It is.
Okay, lastly, let's look at the Middle East and Africa.
All right, so this region is a smaller part of the market overall.
Okay.
They hold about 2% of the global market share,
Okay.
with a market size of 14.31 million US dollars in 2025,
Okay.
and a projected CAGR of 7.2%.
Still growing, though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Within the region, the GCC countries have a market size of 6.12 million US dollars
Okay.
and an even higher CAGR of 8%, which makes sense with all the urbanization happening there.
Yeah, it's that same trend we saw in Asia Pacific.
Exactly. More people, more public restrooms, more demand.
Yeah, urbanization seems to be a global driver here.
It really does. And then South Africa, they've got a 2.26 million US dollar market with a solid 8.2% CGRR.
Wow, that's strong.
Yeah, and that could be tied to the demand for convenient, easy-to-use solutions.
Yeah, it just makes life easier.
Right. And then you've got countries like Egypt, Turkey, and Nigeria all contributing to growth in this region.
So globally, we're seeing growth everywhere.
Absolutely.
But the speed and the reasons behind it are really diverse.
Yeah, it's a fascinating picture. Okay, so now let's switch gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about the types of products that are popular and really taking off.
Yeah, what are people actually buying?
Well, according to the report, sprays are the king right now.
Sprays.
Yeah, they dominate the market,
Okay.
probably because they're easy to use
Yeah.
and they feel like they disinfect quickly and effectively,
Right. And that's really important in public restrooms.
especially high traffic ones.
Yeah. Got to be quick and efficient.
Exactly.
But the report says liquids are the fastest growing segment.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Well, liquids are often packaged in bottles,
Right.
and it seems like people like that because they're versatile.
Okay.
You could use them directly or dilute them for other cleaning.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and some people might think they're more economical for deep cleaning.
So you get more bang for your buck.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So sprays for quick on the go, shoes. And liquids for more comprehensive cleaning.
Exactly.
Okay, and what about pack sizes? Any interesting insights there?
Yeah, actually, there's a pretty wide range of options.
Okay.
For sprays, you see everything from small personal sizes under 50 milliliters.
Okay, perfect for travel.
Exactly. To
Yeah.
larger sizes over 150 milliliters for heavier use.
So businesses or maybe even just big families at home.
Right. And liquids come in different volumes, too.
Okay.
Typically up to 100 milliliters for personal use,
Right.
and then larger bottles between 101 and 200 milliliters for bigger jobs.
So there's something for everyone.
Yeah, and wipes, those come in different pack sizes, too.
Oh, right, the wipes.
Yeah, from small packs under 40 wipes for portability
Okay.
to bigger packs over 80 wipes
Mm-hmm.
for when you need a lot.
So it's like the market is really trying to cater to all the different ways people use these products.
Exactly. Different needs, different situations, they've got you covered.
All right, so now let's talk money.
Okay,
What are people willing to pay for this stuff?
good question. So the report identifies a growing segment of high-end sanitizers.
High-end.
Yeah, these are like the fancy ones.
Okay.
They often use natural ingredients,
Oh, okay.
things like essential oils or plant-based formulas.
So more natural.
Exactly. And they focus on eco-friendly packaging too,
Yeah, so it's appealing to people who care about sustainability.
right? People who are willing to pay a little extra for those things.
So it's not just about killing germs, it's about a whole value system.
Yeah, it's about a lifestyle.
Okay, and what about the people who are more budget conscious?
Well, low-cost options are still the biggest part of the market overall.
Right.
These are usually the more conventional alcohol-based formulas,
Yeah,
often sold in larger quantities to keep the price down.
makes sense. Got to appeal to everyone.
Exactly. All right, so now we know what people are buying and how much they're spending.
Yeah, but who's actually doing the buying?
Right, who are the main customers here?
Is it businesses or is it individuals?
Well, right now the commercial segment is the leader.
Okay, commercial, so that's like,
Hotels, restaurants, healthcare facilities anywhere with public restrooms, basically.
yeah, those are the places where hygiene is really crucial.
It's a must-have.
Yeah, you don't want to mess around with that. But the report says there's a big shift happening in another area, too.
That's right. The residential segment is growing like crazy.
Residential, that's individuals, right?
Yeah, people buying this for their own homes.
So why the sudden surge?
Well, I think it's a couple of things.
Okay.
People are just more aware of hygiene in general.
Yeah.
And it's just so convenient to have this stuff at home.
Right, you don't have to think about it.
Exactly.
Yep.
And, I think the events of the past few years have probably played a role, too.
Yeah, for sure. People are just more hygiene conscious now.
It's like a lasting impact.
Okay, so we've got the who's buying.
Yeah,
But how are they getting their hands on this stuff?
right. What are the main ways this is being sold?
Online, probably.
Online channels are dominant right now.
Yeah, it's just so easy.
It is. E-commerce is king.
Makes sense. You can buy anything online these days.
Anything. But offline channels are still important too.
Okay, so like physical stores?
Exactly. Places like supermarkets, pharmacies.
Right.
Some people prefer to shop that way,
They like to see the product in person.
right? Or maybe they need it right away.
Yeah, and some people just aren't comfortable buying online.
True. So it seems like having a multi-channel approach is important.
Gotta reach everyone.
Exactly.
Okay, so to wrap things up, we've established this is a competitive market.
Very competitive.
Yeah. But what's the landscape looking like? Who are the players?
Well, you've got your big global brands.
We'll see, we all know.
Yeah, exactly. The Lysols, the Cloroxes, the Dettals of the world.
Right, those guys are everywhere.
They're leveraging their brand recognition and their huge product lines to stay on top.
Makes sense, though they're heavy hitters. But are there smaller players too?
Absolutely. There are a bunch of emerging companies
Okay.
that are really focusing on niche applications and settings.
Interesting, so more specialized.
Yeah, they see a gap in the market and they're going for it.
So it's a mix of big guys and smaller, more agile companies.
Yeah, a real dynamic market.
Very cool. The report even gives some specific examples.
It does.
Companies like Cal Pharma Grayson, Global Redcliffe Hygiene, and HYGE.
Yeah, those are just a few of the names in the game.
So that gives you a sense of the diversity in the market.
Right, it's not just a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Definitely not.
Okay.
Okay, so before we go, let's recap what we've learned for our listeners.
Yeah, good idea.
What are the key takeaways here?
Okay, so big picture, we're looking at a global market for toilet seat sanitizer that's worth over 700 million US dollars right now
And growing.
and growing fast. It's projected to reach almost 1.2 billion by 2033.
Wow.
And this growth is really being driven by a global focus on hygiene.
Yeah, we're all a bit more germ conscious these days.
Exactly. And we've seen how different regions are growing at different rates.
Right. Asia Pacific is the one to watch.
Definitely. And consumer preferences are changing too.
People want those convenient sprays, but also those liquids for deep cleaning.
And those high-end natural options.
It's all about choice.
Right. And the competition is fierce.
Big brands and smaller players battling it out.
Yeah, and more people are buying online.
Although those brick and mortar stores are still hanging in there.
They are.
So it's a complex but really interesting market.
Yeah, a lot going on.
All right, so remember those key growth areas?
Yeah,
Asia Pacific booming,
definitely.
and individuals are buying more for their homes.
Hygiene at home is more important than ever.
Absolutely. So, this deep dive into this specific product,
Yeah,
it really makes you think about the bigger picture.
it does.
How is this focus on hygiene going to change our expectations in the future?
Right. Will public spaces become even more sanitized?
Yeah. And what about our own habits?
Will we become even more meticulous about cleaning at home?
It's definitely something to ponder.
And what about other niche hygiene markets?
Ooh.
Could they be next?
Yeah. It's a really interesting thought.
It is food for thought, for sure.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of toilet seat sanitizer.
It's been a pleasure.
Really interesting stuff.
Yeah, fascinating market.
All right. We'll see you next time.
See you then.
Bye.